Hi, welcome to The Ring and All Other Sports. My name is Leo Connors and I'm your host. And tonight, I got two special guests. 2/3 of the tag team, Chunky but Funky. Sonny Goodspeed and DJ Barrett.
Hi.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you very much for coming on. What's up, guys?
Nice to see you, Leo.
Nice to see you guys. Guys, I had posted earlier on Facebook saying that I was going to do like by myself. But then Sonny hit me up, and then he hit me up last night.
Yeah.
Then he hit me up this morning telling me DJ was going to come on. So this is perfect. I already answered all the fan questions I had this afternoon, too.
Oh, good.
Yeah, right out of work.
Perfect.
Well, let's get right into it. Where'd you grow up?
Nashville.
Nashville, all right.
Tree Streets.
When did you first, well, Tree Streets, that end or that end?
All of them.
Yeah.
Pretty much, we moved around to all of them from Pine Street to, Walnut.
Ash Court.
Oh, yeah, Ash Court.
Oh, Ash Court. Okay, so that's
Court. Yeah, that side. Yeah. Buck Street.
Buck
Yep.
Street,
Yep.
in the middle.
all right. When did you first see pro wrestling? I know you told me you have a really good story for this.
Yeah, it was, we watched on TV, but like we lived on 11th Street, the housing projects there, and the whole neighborhood, we would take off and go to we went to Bishop Garden one night, and so we get on the bleachers, go all the way up to the top, we're all sitting up there, and it was what I remember the main event was Andre the Giant Putski against the Executioners, for the tag team titles. So my brother, and a lot of people know who Johnny is, he gets excited, and when he gets excited, he claps and shakes his hands.
Yeah.
So every time the crowd would go crazy, we'd all stand up and he'd clap. Side note to this, my mom, my job, my whole life was she would always watch your brother, keep an eye on your brother. We're wrestling, we're going crazy.
Right.
So every time they did that, my brother would do that, and everybody stand up, he'd stand up and he'd sit back down. He'd do it, sit back down. He'd get closer and closer. And eventually somebody goes, "Where's Johnny?" And my mom, "Where the hell's your brother?" And I'm like, he's down there. He fell off the top of the bleachers and hit the floor. Okay. All right. So he destroyed his elbow. First of all, he broke his elbow. Now, there's I don't know if the ambulance was there back then or what, but an ambulance shows up, puts him on the stretcher, and they start to leave with them. Andre and Putski, and they're all, it's all going on, and he flips out. No, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. They stopped and hiked up the stretcher as high as they could and let him watch the rest of the show.
With a shattered elbow.
With a broken, destroyed elbow, he wouldn't leave.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Every time he stood up, he sat back down, but closer to the edge. Can you imagine?
Finally, just
looking
went
to your
over,
left?
and nobody knew. I didn't know. Like I said, my job was finally. My mom's like, "Oh my God," he was special needs, so it was like everybody freaking out. They thought, he went right over the edge.
Was special needs. He is special needs.
He
And
has
Johnny just
special
got married, actually.
Yeah,
Not this
Johnny.
past Sunday
Yes.
before.
Yep.
So we're going to have to show him this video because we talked about him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll freak his...
Oh, yeah.
He's going to love it.
Oh, my
yeah.
God, is he? Yeah. I got mentioned on TV. He'll love it.
All right, let me say this real quick. The best, the only person that could do Johnny better than Johnny is...
Yeah.
40 years I've known Johnny. And
That's the way you did it.
yeah. Oh, he's going to be so ecstatic
But he
that he got
awesome.
mentioned on TV.
He loves... wrestling was like, that's it. He loves... It's always been
That's
his...
how I was. I found it in 72. I was 7 years old, man. I loved it. And I know exactly when, only because I remember seeing Professor Tanaka and Mr. Fuji with the tag team belts.
Yeah.
So I was able to, as I got older, realize exactly when I started
Yep.
watching wrestling. What stinks, though, is I missed out on the tag team of Chief J. Strongbow and Sonny King. They must have they had lost the
Right.
titles to Fuji and Tanaka. I would have loved to have seen that. All right. So, DJ, were your friends and family into wrestling? Obviously, your family was. What about friends? Obviously, Sonny.
That's pretty much...
Yeah.
We'd watch it.
Your only friend?
We'd watch it. Yeah. We'd watch it, and then 5 minutes later, it wasn't backyard wrestling, but we'd find a playground, whatever it was, a porch, whatever it was, and beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah,
Thinking that
constantly.
way,
7 years old. You love telling this story. I don't know how old we were, but there was a show at Elm Street, was it, or something?
Yeah.
They used to always come to Elm Street.
My aunt wouldn't let me go for whatever reason, and I cried.
No,
I cried because and Dave that's the one thing he has on me, so he keeps bringing it up every chance he gets.
I cried. My parents took me to Florida, to
Listen to this.
Disneyland, and we stopped in Georgia at my father's brother's house, my uncle. The day we were leaving, I had seen wrestling poster on the thing. NWA, Dusty Rhodes, all these people. And I said to my, can't we just stay one more night? And they said, no. I cried.
Yeah.
I cried.
I would have.
And I was like 16, 17 years old,
I would
15.
have got my ass beat.
Wrestling's a big deal, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, I would have.
My mother always says, I took an ungrateful kid. I said, well, you didn't bring anybody to come with me.
Right.
You just took me and no one else.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to have fun? Then I'm in the park. I have to say this part. And this girl, who I couldn't stand from the neighborhood, she's there and she's screaming my name. And I'm like trying to hide now, ignoring her. And my mother, I just asked her if I could take off for a little while on my own. And she said, I think that girl's calling you. So my mother walks over to her, you know my son, and she brings her over and says, oh, you can go with her. So I was with her about 10 minutes, and I ditched her.
The Elm Street though, so my brother again, it's another Johnny story.
Yeah.
He had all kinds of surgeries, reconstructive surgeries, and one of them was his ears, to pin his ears back because they stuck out like taxi cab doors. So he has this big, to me he looked like Snoopy. I don't know how to explain it, but he looked like Snoopy because in the end he had his nose maybe worked on a little bit, but he was all gauzed up and he had this big plastic thing on the side of his head, and we got ringside. We're right on the end, like the third row.
Wow.
And so here comes Jimmy Snuka, right? First, Jimmy Snuka walks out, his chest walks out first because he's so...
Oh, yeah.
Place is going nuts. He's working with one of the Samoans. But he comes up the aisle, and we're all standing out there with our hands out there to hit his hands. And he walks by and he sees Johnny, and he just stops, and he's staring at him, and he goes, I can't do it, Jimmy. You could probably do Jimmy's. I can't do the accent. But he goes, but I'd hate to see what the other guy looks like. And Johnny's like, yeah. Loved it, though. He said,
shut up, just give me 5.
But that again, that was it was awesome for Johnny. It was he couldn't believe it.
I love
Jimmy.
Snuka, too.
Snuka, talk to me.
Yeah.
Oh, that was our guy. I had this poster of him off the wall.
Yep.
On my wall, and diving off the top rope.
But you're right, though. Like I said, he's so mad. When he was in shape, he was
Successful.
massive,
Enormous.
him and Atlas and Rocky Johnson were like those are the guys back then were like
They were bodyguards. Yeah. Kind of like me now.
yeah.
I would never let like Tony meet any of the girls that I'm. That's my family because he would just be looking at their feet. Obviously.
Yeah.
All right, DJ. When did you go to your first show? Do you remember your very first show?
Yeah, that was probably
the Elm Street one.
We used to go to and it's a liquor store now, but in Nashville on Coliseum Ave, the Coliseum.
Yeah.
They used to have wrestling and Bishop Girton. So what I mean, it was like I can remember that was my first memory.
Yep.
Would be, and I'm pretty sure it was Zbyszko and Garea against the Valiants, or it was either Johnny Rosin and Jose Estrada, either one. But Vince
Either
McMahon,
2 white guys or 2 Puerto Ricans.
Right. Yeah.
right?
Easy
But
about the Puerto Rican guys.
I remember I had brought.
Sorry,
I brought,
Leo.
I brought a little notebook to get out because that was back. Remember when you can go up to the corner?
Yeah.
Yes.
And get
yes.
autographs, and like everybody was. So I was a little kid. I never got an autograph, but I got one, and I wish I still had it. It was Vince McMahon.
Wow. No
And he
kidding.
was. I remember I was little and just looking.
Oh, he
up
was
at-
a big guy. He is a big guy.
And I remember seeing him on my neighborhood kids. That's hey. And so I went over to him, handed him, and he took it and signed it and handed. It was like 2 seconds, and he probably get the hell away from me. Kid.
I think Vince McMahon should hire me as a producer.
Absolutely.
They're hiring.
They just
Are they?
hired Pat Buck, right?
Yeah.
They just hired Pat Buck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see what he did too? This past
Just last week,
did you hear about
let's
Cass, right?
discuss this real quick before we
Sure.
go on. All right. Over the weekend, guys, Big Cass, who's now known as something else.
Cass XL or something.
CSXL, like extra large or
Yeah.
whatever, was at a WrestlePro show, and I guess he had an attitude. Okay.
Yeah.
And Joey Janela.
Yeah.
And Joey's a lot smaller than Big Cass.
Sure.
A lot smaller. And Joey was running away from him and stuff like that. And so eventually he kept running his mouth. And Pat Buck punched him in the face. And Pat is obviously, Big Cass is almost 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
You know? What an ass.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'd never want to see him
Just
or
from the
Enzo
reports,
back.
just from the reports that they have, it definitely seems like Kaz was in the wrong, and
Yeah.
Pat was defending
He
himself.
was outside, like afterwards, flipping out. And
Yeah, and they took him to the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever. I hope he gets his stuff together,
Yeah,
but
me too. I mean, it's not like I hate the guy.
no
but
reason to see
man,
him back. And I mean,
Right.
I don't want to see him back on TV.
I don't want to see him back either. And Enzo Amore, if I had it my way, I'd never let him wrestle anywhere. Because honestly, all he had was the talking. He
Yeah.
wasn't that good in the ring.
No.
He's so bad he almost knocked himself out.
Yeah,
When
just getting
was it
dumped
Simon
outside.
Grimm that threw him in? I think it was Simon
it?
Grimm. Yeah. So, all right, let's finish up this get to know you interview.
Okay.
Who trained you?
Jeff Costa.
Okay.
Yeah, Lobster Man.
All right.
Costa.
Is he the only guy that trained you?
I would say I was out of it for a little bit and came back and worked with Mav a lot at the
Okay.
gym in Nashville. So Mav,
Nice. Who else was in your class?
Sonny Goodspeed, Dave Hogue, Eric Smith, Donnie, Skull.
Not that
Congo
Donnie.
Boy. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Donnie.
That one? With
Sud
that
Deskel.
shot teeth?
Sud Deskel, yes.
That's how it all started. We went to the garden.
He told that story.
Yeah.
Donnie's walking around handing out flyers, and I knew him from the boys' club.
Yep.
We go down. He's Donnie. What is this? We bring us down to Jeff. There's Jeff with his daughter, and we start talking, and that was pretty much where it started.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love Jeff.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the last question on the Get to Know You interview. Tell us about your first match, which is interesting, guys.
Oh,
Wait to
boy.
hear this.
All right. So, So we're it's gonna happen. The show's gonna happen January 8th, 1994. I remember it. It's my brother's birthday. It's Johnny's birthday.
Hey,
January,
you're Johnny.
So.
Happy birthday to me.
So, it's at Richard's Catering Hall in Hudson, New Hampshire, right next to the Nanking. And the first thing, it was a Sunday, huge snowstorm. We got like a foot of snow. We get the ring there. I don't know how we get in there. We set up, and forever and ever before that, while we were training, it was me and Donnie.
Yeah.
Skull, whatever you want to call him. It was going to be me and Donnie. We had trained in the ring, had a match down to a T. The finish, the whole thing was done. All right, no problem. I'm happy about that because I'm like, oh my God, it's my first match. I'm scared, out of my mind. And so we get there, we set up the ring, and Jeff goes, yeah, oh, by the way, you're going to work with Bradley, and Donnie's going to work with Butcher. And I'm like, what? Now, Steve, and there's nothing against it, it's a long story, but he had his own little KWF, Kids Wrestling Federation,
Right.
had been running shows in Hudson at the Lions Hall. He came down to Jeff when Jeff was working at Fairgrounds Junior High.
Yep.
Came in on a Saturday. I was down there, and we watched him and Dan, JJ Crush, work out a little bit, and Jeff's like, all right, yeah. But he'd never been trained.
Right.
He didn't know how left, right. He just watched what he watched and liked it and did, copied what they did. He
Right.
was very good at it. I'm not saying the one thing we watched the KWF, the stuff in Hudson, the kid did the catapult thing from him in the middle of the ring. And it wasn't it was a smaller ring, but
Right.
he went up and over the top rope and onto the floor all by himself. He did it by himself, and it was just like, I think that's what Jeff saw and was like, okay. But so we have that's it. So my first match is with him.
Wow.
And the finish was, it was NWA rules. So if you go over the top rope, you're disqualified.
Right.
And that was, Jeff's like, he's going to give you a flying body press, you sidestep, and he goes over the top rope, and that'll be it. Like, all right. Cool.
Oh, so you beat Bradley.
No, I lost by disqualification.
Oh, because
I threw him over the
all right.
top
I
rope.
thought when you had said like you
No,
moved
no.
out of the way,
Yeah.
he
No,
just
no.
fell, but you kind of tossed him.
Yeah, he came at me,
Right.
I caught him, and then I kind of like
Yep.
dumped him over the top rope. And
You're a
That's
cheating
pretty
bastard.
cool, though.
the only thing was, I remember him going, I'm going to do a moonsault. And I'm like, I'm going to move. And he's like, yeah, you're going to move.
You remember this is 1994. There weren't a lot of moonsaults
Yeah,
then.
he
You know
was
what I
what?
mean?
You said 17 years old?
Yeah,
or
he was
something like
probably
that?
He was
17,
17 years,
yeah.
18 years old.
I got to ask you guys this. You
16-year-old.
said he worked for Jeff, but he was running his own kids federation.
Right, way
Did
back.
he outdraw Jeff back then? Because I heard he had a lot of people at his shows sometimes. I heard. And also,
It was all at the Lions Hall. It was all
Well,
friends and
his
family.
friends.
Like,
Oh, okay, so
you know what I
really
mean?
was.
It wasn't like
I got,
yeah. Yeah, because all the kids were,
something false.
most of the kids that were on the show were 14 years old.
Wow,
So their
okay.
parents came,
Yeah.
brought the kids with.
Back then, even back then, first match, for whatever you want to, you knew it. You saw it. You're like,
Right.
Yep. He just needs to get some more. He not working with me, but working with
No, I know what you're saying.
better, more experience, and he obviously went and did it.
I saw Eddie Edwards probably 9 months into his career, and I said, that kid's going to be something if he don't get hurt and he sticks with it.
Right.
And look at him now. I mean, seriously, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
You know? All right, guys, that's done with the notebook because this all
All right, thanks for
happened.
joining us.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks, guys. No,
All
I'm
right.
just kidding. Guys, how about you take me through Chunky But Funky?
Oh, boy.
How it started, and everything.
All right. So, from what I remember, and I have a terrible memory, that's why I keep on him. But so Bob was booking shows.
Okay.
And we were doing some.
Bob Evans, right?
Bob Evans,
Okay.
yes. We were doing some 4th of July show somewhere, and Bob goes, "Hey, you're going to team up with Scott Ashworth. You're going to work this tag
Right.
with a couple of these students of mine." And we were like, "Yeah, all right." And then we go out and have the match, and we clicked.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one of those
Yeah.
things that just like, you know, there's a couple of guys who've been around a while, and we just gelled.
Right.
And then Bob says, "Hey, we're going to keep you guys together." And then Dave, you were out of the business, right?
Yeah, you.
And I was just talking you back, coming
yeah,
back
yeah,
in.
you were. Yeah, you were.
And you were just ordering gear,
yeah.
right? And then I called you and it
Well,
was like,
he says dye your hair.
"Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
then-
yeah, yeah,
blonde?
yeah,
Go-
yeah,
go-
dye your hair blonde."
Go
yeah.
tan and dye your hair." And I'm like, okay. And get down to Mavs, get down to the gym and start work. Mav, ran a couple nights a week. He had a ring in there, so
Yep.
I started. That's why I said Mav trained me.
That ring behind Chicken and Chips, right?
Behind Chicken and
Because I
Chips,
went
yeah.
there a couple times just to, you know what I mean, to watch.
Yeah.
Because Jeff was always really good to me.
Yeah.
He really was. He would tell me $20 I'd sell my merchandise, and Sheldon would charge me $75. So I only did Sheldon once.
Yeah.
But I made money, and that was the night Bradley was Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So I picked the right show
that was a good
to
one.
be there.
You're welcome.
Yes, because Sonny was the booker. I remember
I was the
asking you
booker
that.
for that, yes.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
Now, who was wrestling? Was it Alex and Slick? You don't remember? I'm pretty sure
Told you,
Slick
terrible
was
memory.
in the match.
It probably
I'm pretty
was.
sure.
Yeah, it probably was. And then Steve, yeah. And then Steve attacked, Santa Claus. I remember the handcuffs and the fork and the whole
Dude,
bit.
it was unbelievable.
It was,
Let's put it this way. I was selling my merchandise, and I had a kid with me. And I told him, well, I'm going to the ringside. I have to see this. And I mean, I couldn't have been from either one of the cameras away when he took that off.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was flipping out. It's Bradley. What's going on here? It was crazy.
it pays to be friendly with some guys, you know. But so you were ordering the gear.
Yeah.
And what I said, is it too late to add some pink onto that, right?
And I called the lady, Yolanda, of something. She used to work for the WWE.
Okay.
Doing all the guys games. She went out on her own, and I called her up and said, "Can you put pink in that?" And she's like, "Absolutely."
Nice.
Not done
So
yet,
because Scott and I were doing black and pink.
Right.
And then I said, if I can't make it or Vash can't make it or whatever the case is, you know
Well,
what I mean?
Ash was doing a lot of doing the clown.
He was in the
clown,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was doing the, you know.
and
I
he
didn't
did
see-
very
I
well
didn't-
with that.
I
Did
didn't
very
see
well,
Scott
so-
wrestle a lot. I saw
He
him with
stayed
the
mostly
Chunky but
South
Funky.
Shore,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's why.
Yep,
You
so
know what I
mostly
mean?
South Shore. Yeah.
But he was good.
He had. I mean,
So
like
good.
just
He
like
was.
him.
Probably
Just like-
still
but
is.
like,
I mean,
yeah,
he
like
doesn't
that,
wrestle as much.
but just natural, just new.
Right.
Just remember, like, I remember
easy,
sitting, like,
easy.
and like we did a couple of top rope shows, and
Yeah.
we'd be out on those fair shows, out in the truck, and he'd be sucking down some beers, sitting just in his little speedo gimmick
Yeah.
or his thong, and
His what?
His thong.
thong,
right?
yeah, thong,
Wow.
just bare ass with his song on, smoking a cigarette, drinking the beers, and we'd be like, "Hey, we're up in 4 minutes." He'd be like, "All right,"
Right, yeah.
and then he'd be ready to go, just rocking, just
Total professional.
so
yeah.
and just so fun to be in the ring with.
Right.
So, like just
Yeah,
even
yeah,
just
easy.
listening to him,
Right,
talking to the guy.
yeah.
I remember one time we did a show down in for Heresy down in Gardner.
Yeah, the dock.
Somewhere around there, Orange, Mass, maybe.
Yeah.
Big building, like a
yeah.
high
Yep.
school or something.
Yep.
And we were working with a couple of chaotic guys. These big.
Oh, yeah.
Tom was one of them.
Yeah.
Sledge, I think you worked
Oh,
at.
yeah, Sledge. Yeah, he's
then-
the team with Scotty
Mike
Reed.
Nice.
Mike Nice, yeah, and
Oh,
then-
Mike Nice was a big dude. too.
Giant dude. And then this other dude.
Mike Osborne?
maybe?
Psycho?
No.
No.
Nick or something. He does powerlifting now. He's on Facebook. You probably have him.
Yeah.
And the kid's like, well, we're like, hey guys, what do you guys do? And they're all like, Sledge and this other kid, I can't think of his name.
Right.
I apologize, but he helped TK get big and because he was doing the powerlifting
Right,
or
right.
whatever,
Yeah,
right?
I know who you're
So he says, he goes, well, I throw a clothesline. Ash goes, I bet you do. I bet you do. And I just remember we're in the ring and Scott calls for the clothesline. The kid throws a clothesline. His arm is this big. Right? Ash just goes, "Ooh, Steph!" And just as he's taking a bump. But, oh, my God. And then I remember, like, working matches, and the promoter goes, you don't have to bump a whole lot. You don't have to bump a whole lot.
And you were like,
Scott would say,
great.
yeah, Scott's like, anytime I'm in the ring and I make a noise, that's a bump. So he would get clubbed, take a knee, he'd be like, that's one. That's one, he'd say. Yeah. And then he'd take another knee, oh, that's two. That's two. Yeah,
Hey,
so
that's awesome.
Yeah, Scott was just awesome, and then just the three of us being together. It was just like it was having Dave as the interchangeable guy.
Right.
I took the heat.
That's
though.
awesome.
Yeah, Dave was always the guy that took the heat though too.
Yeah,
We'd be like the three of us. No, that's Dave. Dave's taking the heat. Yeah.
Hey, what about the time he thought the guy was shooting on him?
Oh, that was in Gardner. Guy.
Oh,
Guy.
Yeah, I think he's
Guthrie.
shooting on me. I
Yeah,
think
Guthrie.
he's shooting. He told me, is that true?
I'm in the corner. It's just whatever it was, 6-man, tag, whatever it was, and they got me in the corner. And this kid Guthrie, and a good kid,
Yeah.
I'm out, but he's stomping me, and he's stomping through me.
Right.
And he does
Young
it a couple.
green kid, you know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
so I'm taking
carried
the
away.
corner, and I'm hitting the back of my head on the turnbuckle and all this stuff, and I'm selling it. But he stops and he sells to the crowd, and I just grabbed the top rope and stood up and kicked him right in the chest as hard as I could.
Nice.
I'm like stiff, right? And then this guy over, unprofessional,
Yeah.
totally unprofessional.
You yelling it?
Just yelling.
Oh, that's all right.
We had a friggin' blast just working together.
Oh, yeah.
Another time, so then we'll tell you about the other time that Dave was getting shot on, and I just came and straightened him out. But
I think you did tell that
we
earlier.
were
but-
working out way out in Western Mass. Remember we worked for Ricard out there, and he yelled at us because we didn't dress up. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
was that
yeah,
supposed to
yeah,
be the
yeah.
Tuxedo?
North.
no,
Okay,
that
okay,
was Bob.
okay.
North Adams. That's where we were.
Oh,
Way out.
I'm in
That's
Illinois.
way out
that
there,
is
right?
far.
Oh, yeah,
And we're
it is.
working Dan the freight train.
Yeah,
And
Big Kahuna.
yeah. Oh, see, I wouldn't
With
even
the
remember
pizza,
that.
remember
Didn't
the
he just
pizzas
pass
walking
away?
around?
Big Kahuna?
Yeah.
He got
I mean, if I,
sick.
that's,
He was sick. I saw that on Facebook.
Oh, I don't know.
somewhere.
oh, all right, maybe that's all it is. Sorry. I
Yeah.
already said one time that someone was
So
dead on
Dan-
here and he wasn't.
we're doing the spot in the ring, and Dan's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this thing where I get the pizza, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
be distracted
well-
and stuff, right?" He goes, "But then we'll turn around and we'll do something." Dave and I are sitting there waiting, and he's got the pizza, and we're waiting, and now we're just looking like asses.
Yeah.
Right? We're like, so I literally just start yelling, "Turn the F around!" I'm just like,
Yeah.
fucking stupid, just turn around. I used
He
to lose
hears
my.
it. He can hear it too. He
Oh,
knows
everybody
it's
can
not
hear it.
like- It's not like he's miles
Everybody,
away.
I used to get frustrated and just
So-
yell
Yeah,
stuff.
of course.
Because I would get frustrated.
Yeah.
You know, I remember so Saturday night, thanks to you, we went to go see Tesla, and we ran
That's
into
awesome.
Jesse
Frankie
Marriott there.
Hannon.
Okay. Oh, I remember
Right.
Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse Scott, Stephen Marriott, that's what it was.
Yeah,
So,
Steve
and
Marriott,
we're
yeah.
talking to him, and we're talking about a match that I remember he was out managing for, and I'm on the outside, and I'm yelling, "Jesse, Jesse, Jesse!" Finally, Dave's like, his name's Stephen. I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, oops.
I'm like, "Whoops, Stephen." Then he turns around. I'm like, "Whatever."
Didn't he was like a ring announcer sometimes?
Ring
in the
announcer
ring,
sometimes, yeah.
timekeeper
Oh, yeah,
and
he
all
did a
that.
little bit
I
of
remember
everything.
him.
Yeah, he managed a lot too.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then down in Bourne, we had a tag match with. Remember, we worked for that. I don't even Dave or something.
Oh,
down
yeah,
in some
okay.
bar.
Yes,
And
yeah,
I went in
oh.
and shit kicked those two kids.
Yo.
Yeah. Well, two kids that were supposed to be pros.
Right.
Around a long time.
Sonny, Sonny don't get mad. Like Sonny don't lose his cool that much.
Right.
That night, they were just taking advantage.
They were just careless and just
Yep.
taking advantage. And Dave's a nice guy, so
Yeah.
I was just yelling. This is another time I'm on the outside of the ring just yelling, "Tag me the fuck frig in!" All right, there's the frig, and I'm just like super aggravated. As soon as he
Yeah.
tagged me, I just went.
The guy's
Crazy.
outside the ring, and Sonny runs across the ring, grabs onto the top rope, sticks his feet out through the ropes, and kicks the guy.
Oh, I
right
did
in
one
the
of those
face.
delayed, like
Yeah.
what do they call them? Drop kick gimmicks,
Yeah.
right? Where you just jump in the air
Kicked
and then
him right in
I
the
kicked him. He
face.
spun off the ring apron.
Nice.
By the time we got back down to the down to the locker room, they were gone. They said
Oh,
they
yeah.
they left in their gear. Just
Wow,
left.
I seen
yeah.
Virgil do that at a Sparta show.
Y'all leave in his gear?
Yep.
Yeah. So that was another time, but because we've been best friends since
Yeah.
I was 7 years old. Dave was 9.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, you're
That's
old, man.
No,
I'm
yeah.
older- I'm a lot older than you,
super
don't worry.
old. But it's like, we always looked out for each other. So
Yeah.
it just teaming together as growing up as teenagers,
Right.
and growing up in the neighborhood that we were in.
And both loving wrestling.
Both loving wrestling.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, when we get into this, we're going to be a tag team. And we're
Right.
gonna, we're whatever. That's what it was.
That's
and then
cool.
when we got into it, we weren't. We didn't tag. Really, we didn't ever. I don't even know if we even worked a singles match.
Whoever put you
Maybe
guys
once.
together?
Yeah, Bob did.
Bob,
Yeah, with
okay.
Phil.
So
Yeah.
Bob's like, because Bob
Ash
is
couldn't
running a
always
lot of
make
shows.
that.
Ash couldn't always make it. So
Right,
I was like,
kinda.
Dave,
And
get the
he
pink, and then
sometimes,
I'll get you all these bookings.
Right.
So
It was
it just
fun. I was telling him the other night when we were driving back from Tesla, that time 4, 5, 6, how long it was so much fun.
Right.
That top row, Jeff, front row, Heresy, all those different places that we went to.
Right.
And they were all the same guys. I mean,
Yeah.
usually it was always the same Bob, EPW. I loved all that. That when you walked into the locker room, dressing room, and
We used to say a lot of times, like I hate the wrestling part of it, but if you could just book a hall and put us all in a hall, you know what I mean?
And then
Put a
Applebee's
curtain
went
up
down.
so we
That's
feel, so we feel like we're,
getting ready to wrestle.
Yeah, exactly, and just hang out like that crew
Yeah.
for those 4 or 5 years
Oh,
or whatever
yeah.
it was, 6 years. Some of the best times, like, I mean, and at the time too, Chunky but Funky, we literally worked. If there was a group in New England to work for, we were working for them.
Right.
We worked for that cop that used to run out of Revere. We got to work for.
Yeah.
We got to work with the Crown Jewels or something.
Oh, with Jason Rumble
Jason
and
Rumble
Damon.
and-
That must have been incredible because that was a good tag team.
So what was his name? Damien.
Damien Doc Angelo.
Yes,
Who
yes.
used
So-
to team with Steve King.
Right?
Yes.
So that's the stuff I remember, and I used to think he's green or whatever.
Right.
But by the time we got to work with him, I was like, we were fully expecting him to just kind of want to do a ton of crap, and
Right.
and we weren't about that. We were a whole lot of show, not a lot of go.
Right,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
but I got in there with him, and he started doing his gimmick, and I was like, I could do this every night. We
Right.
had such a good match.
yeah.
Jason
were a
Rumble,
good
you know what I
tag
mean?
team, man.
That team, that gimmick was just so good. Then we worked Jason Rumble, or before this, worked Jason Rumble and Nakua when they were doing some
Oh,
I remember that.
football gimmick.
Yes.
Was that Jason?
because Jason
Yes,
used to play
yes,
semi-pro
yes.
football.
yeah.
Yes.
He
So
did.
it was Jason and McCoy. I think it was McCoy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Sam,
They
what
had
a
the
great
football
guy.
Yeah.
Jerseys on.
Right.
Yeah.
Then we
I
worked.
remember
We
them.
got to work. Another team that was around a lot was Sonny Roselli out of Maine
Oh, yeah,
and
and
Larry
Larry-
Huntley.
yeah.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we were just having matches. Not all of them were great. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
But we were working every weekend.
My.
for-
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's it.
My feather for me in my cap, I guess you could say, was I love Bob. It was Case High School. There wasn't a ton of people. It was wasn't great, but he brought in Terry Taylor for a seminar.
Oh, wow.
And then that night, the show, Terry sat out there and watched the show.
Right. And they gave feedback?
Yeah, and we worked with Mikey B and Mikey Bennett and Canales and Bryce Andrews.
Wow.
Big, they're all
Yeah.
muscles, every muscle all over the place, and there's two fat guys, and if it would have been a house, we probably would have popped the house. It wasn't
Right.
that many, like I said, it wasn't too many people, but after the match, Terry comes like he would come in and talk to whoever it was, walked right over to us, and Sonny is out there doing the Red Rooster, doing the strut for him and all that stuff. And
I
he
got
loved
Terry.
it.
I got Terry to do the rooster thing with me.
He popped for him, but
He
came
wasn't
right over-
responding to anything all night long, but I got him to do the deal.
He was cool, though,
Oh.
too.
Yeah,
Obviously,
he
sounds
thought
like he was
over. He
wicked
came
cool.
over to
Yeah.
us and popped for us and told us,
Wow.
that's a old school.
Like great
He goes, you
gimmick,
guys,
right?
yeah, he loved
Yeah.
it, loved it.
Yeah.
And then went over to those guys and told them,
Yeah.
how much he did. But like I said, Mikey B was
Well, and so
awesome.
was the Crown Jewels maybe your favorite tag team to wrestle, or
No,
like
we only
the
got to work
best?
them once.
Okay, so who did you really like to wrestle against the most?
This is the thing. Like as
worked
Chunky
with
but Funky,
everybody.
we
We
worked with
wasn't-
everybody, but
Right.
we didn't work with. We were never in a
Wasn't-
program with.
Right.
I was going to
anybody.
ask you, so you
You
weren't
know?
in the program. You just come in and wrestle the
Like,
tag team,
Bob would you're gonna work with the kids.
right?
Yeah,
Helping
so-
them out.
One of. I don't think you were. I don't think you were in there
the
yet.
D
but-
unit.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
That's a match.
Rocco Brucey, Clip O'Reilly, and Doug Summers.
D unit. That was
So
Huh?
Bob would just book us with these guys. So, you're going to teach them how to work. And teach them how to work. That's great.
Right.
They were rough. They were rough, though. And then all of a sudden, Bob has this great idea that he's going to put us in a boxing brawl. Right? So it's been done before. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
of course.
So we get to the building, though. There's 6 pairs of gloves. Not a single pair of matches, though. Like one, like
kids gloves.
yeah, kids gloves, training gloves, for a
Yeah,
speed
yeah.
bag. There's I think there was a set of rubber cleaning gloves. There was a set like you would in a comedy routine,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
one of those big doopy ones.
Yep.
There- So we're all like, so then is my idea, because we have the gloves on. I go, well, we can't work these punches because
Right.
you know what I mean. We can't fake the punches.
gonna have to punch
We have
each other.
boxing gloves on, so let's just hit each other. My idea, but I remember I think it was Clip or maybe even Rocco or whatever.
Oh, I think it
I
was-
gave him we were doing a deal, and then he gave me a shot. Literally dropped me to my knee.
Wow.
I went, and I was like, this sucks. And then we did like 5 more of them. You know, like
This is when I
was
first
the
I was
worst.
first getting back into it. So I went to the show, and I was watching. I'm sitting
this
there,
is great.
in the crowd, and he gets knocked down, and I remember Rocco coming over the top behind his head, and you just heard that.
oh yeah.
Like the thump
That's
to the
what it
back of the
was,
head,
yeah.
and Sonny just like flat out, and I'm like,
Wow.
ooh,
No,
and Nick
dropped to a
Steele's
knee.
sitting
go
next
flat
to me,
out.
and he's like, just like Ash, ooh, and he's like, that wasn't good, and his
was bad.
eyes, Sonny's eyes were like, woo hoo woo hoo.
But I just remember it was like a year and a half of just shit kicking those kids because they just
They loved it though.
they just didn't know any better, you know. But
No.
the 3 of us are trying to teach these kids to work a little bit, and like we'd have 3 matches in a row that were great, and then all of a sudden it would be like they forgot everything,
Right.
and then it would just be a fight.
Well,
you
I
know?
remember too, Bryce and BK. That,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
Hot
Bryce and
Shots.
BK, yeah.
We worked that was odd.
That's the one with the tuxedo match.
Oh,
Yes.
And we
that
were
was a
like,
good story.
we're not
We
renting
showed up-
tuxedos. I'm
No.
like, I'm wrestling in my gear because
Right.
you're not paying me enough to rent a tuxedo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other 2 dressed up though in like
They
it
had
was kind
stuff,
of like
yeah.
like Dumb and Dumber kind of stuff.
Right.
But
Yeah.
One of my favorite matches I remember too. We worked with Minnie and Andre.
Oh, I love that. The A-list.
the
I
A-list. That's what they were
love that
called.
tag team. I
And
did.
I've told this story on
Especially for little
some
guys.
some podcasts or whatever. But I remember the month before, Ash and I were sitting there, and Davey was there, and we're watching the A-list and the Logans work out their match in the back.
Yeah,
they literally
yeah.
set up chairs
Yes,
at 4 corners.
yes.
And they're going through their whole thing. The 3 of us are looking at each other because we knew we were working them the next month, and I'm like, I'm not doing any of that. Ash is like, flipper, right?
Yeah.
And Davey's like, well, we're like, so the next month comes, I go, hey man, if they want to talk to us, we'll talk. I said, but I'm not approaching them.
Yeah.
And all they did is come out and say hello, we'll see you out there. I was like, all right. We went out there and just walked and talked for, I don't know, 15 minutes or something. Wow. Just
Yeah.
like
Really good.
those two could go. Those 2 could work, man. It was so fun. And it was a long time, man. It was a lot of years. We literally worked with everybody, but D Unit was probably the only program that we ever actually
yeah,
worked.
yeah,
right.
yeah,
You know, thanks Uncle Bob.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the Logan brothers, though, huh?
Never got to work them.
No, never.
No,
No.
'Cause they didn't
No.
work for Bob all that much.
Okay.
They worked for Mav a few times.
Yeah,
think.
but
I
not,
definitely
like,
think now they're
They're-
one of the best tag
they're
teams
phenomenal.
out there.
Absolutely.
No
They're
doubt.
phenomenal. They're so good. And for them to like, I remember meeting them when they were kids, like 15,
Right.
16 or something years old. Like, they have to have been, right? Because
Yeah.
now, I mean, they're still young men right
Yeah.
now. And to
Yeah,
see them
Matt's
still,
like 32, because he went to school
Yeah.
with my daughter.
Yeah.
So he's 32, 33. And Brian's
still-
a little older, correct?
yeah, I think so.
And then
Yeah,
there's-
and we still go
excuse
see
me,
him at
it's sick.
at the chaotic shows, or I'd go see him at the chaotic shows, and just I'm still putting on phenomenal matches with
Right.
Chase, and just so good, just so much fun, and just to like now they're me, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
they're like, man, yeah, Sonny, I watch these young kids now want to do all this stuff, and we're like, whoa. You know,
Yep.
but back in the day, they were the kids going, and then they'll flip off the top rope and drop kick you into the sky, and we're like, whoa, slow down, yeah.
Right.
But it was fun. It was good times.
DJ, now, have you been following the New England Independence at all?
A
Late
little bit.
last-
I saw like the Drew show the other night. Was that Top Rope?
Yeah, I know. Leo was
Yeah,
talking
it
about
was
it.
like, like 500 people.
Yeah, yeah.
Ryan's a good guy. Sonny
Oh,
introduced
I
me
love
to him.
Ryan. Ryan.
Really is cool.
Ryan Ace.
Yeah, Betty don't like him, though.
No,
He told the story here, you know. I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't like him either. Well, I know Maria
he is
would.
a good guy though. But
Yeah, he is. He's
Betty,
really good
Betty, I
guy.
think, has squashed the heat, Ryan. So I think we're good.
Oh, nice.
You're invited back over. You can come over now.
Well, a little bit. I haven't. We're gonna hopefully. We're gonna pick up my brother on Friday and
Right.
go to that one. in
Chaotic,
Woburn.
yeah.
Yeah.
The last
Yeah.
Woburn
Yeah, we're gonna
show, at
take-
least for now.
Yeah, we're gonna take Johnny to go see all the boys at Chaotic.
Nice.
And I think it's Johnny said he hasn't been to an independent wrestling show probably since
Oh my God, yeah.
since we were wrestling
He's
in
going to
Hudson.
be so psyched.
He's gonna
And
be
that-
so
what I
pumped.
love about the indies is you can go
Yeah.
and get pictures. You know what I mean? Buy
And the
maybe
good
a
thing
shirt
is
or
I'm pretty
whatever.
close with Brian,
Right, exactly.
so I might be able to
Right.
score some stuff and
Yeah.
like have the boys come out and say hi to him or whatever.
Right.
And
That's
Johnny
awesome.
would, Johnny would love that.
Oh
you
my
know,
God,
so
yeah.
I'm going to
it's
try to
be
go.
fun.
I really
Yeah.
am. Do you have
Yeah,
room in the
yeah.
car for me?
I
Or
don't-
is it?
No, I don't think we.
Okay. I can talk to
Is
Dan.
Davey going?
Yeah.
Dan's probably
Yeah,
going.
'cause
Dan or
me-
Mike Miller.
Me, Dave, and Dave, and then Johnny are going to
Yeah.
go. So it'd be squished, but
Right.
you can, yeah, if not.
No, I can get those.
We'll
One
push
of
it in
those
there.
guys will go. 'Cause
I'm sure Mike will
I'm
go.
thinking
Yeah.
like Isaiah's going to get picked up by Maria most likely when she gets out of work.
Yeah.
So I can just go. I don't have Nicole this
And it
week.
is the last show in Woburn, so.
Really?
Yeah, DL's got an open challenge that night.
Yeah.
Christian and Mike Verna, I think,
Yes.
for the heavyweight title. So it'll be
It's
good.
going to be a good show. They always put on a good show. Even like we went to one of the shows, and I was like saying, it's not one of their better shows, but it's always a good time.
Yeah.
Chaotic is always a good time.
Oh,
They just
yeah,
do,
yeah.
they do things
Yeah.
right.
If I'd have to say that's the best independent company,
Yeah, absolutely.
obviously in New England, and that's no knock on anybody else,
Right.
but could possibly be one of the best in the whole United States, man. Honestly, could be.
But a
Think
lot of
about-
guys got a lot of guys. Got,
CZW would have to be up there too, because seriously, they've been around a long time.
Well, just think of the guys that came out of
Right.
chaotic. You know,
Yeah.
just
the
even in the
heavyweight,
past.
the guy with the strap, the top guy right now.
Mr. Casanova.
Well, no, I mean
No, we're talking about
Kofi.
Oh, Cole in the
yeah.
WWE. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, they do a great job
Yeah,
down there.
Hanson,
so.
Todd.
Yeah.
Those,
You got Tommaso and
Tommaso.
everybody,
And
Dijak, and
Sasha.
everybody. Yeah,
I mean, really. It's incredible.
Yeah, they
now
do good work.
they're training. Brian's doing a great job. He has some great guys helping him along the way. You know,
Yeah.
Was it Johnny Vegas?
Johnny Vegas is there.
You're
Scotty
there
Slade's
giving
there.
input sometimes.
Yeah, I go there. I try to go every Tuesday. I don't always make it, but I try to go.
Right.
But
Big
Julian
Scott?
Starr's there. Big Scott's there on Wednesday nights. Chase is there.
Yep.
You know, you've got a ton of knowledge
Yes.
being dropped on these kids. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And Brian just runs just a tight ship, and he just.
That's good.
Yeah, it's crazy, and Brian just has such a way of seeing big picture stuff.
Right.
Like, and not only the big picture stuff, but he can get into the finite details.
Yep.
Like he can watch a 15-minute match and remember everything that happened. Wow. Whereas me, I just
Yeah.
know the big picture stuff.
Yeah, right,
You know, did
exactly.
anybody die? No.
Right.
Did people liked it? Cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this looked like crap. You could tighten this up, kind of stuff. But he literally can get down into the smallest details and say, you know, if you did this instead of this,
Right.
it would have looked that much better. And I go, he's absolutely right. You know,
Right.
like to me, I'm like, well, nobody died doing it, so it looks
Yep.
okay. You know, but Brian, he's just got a great eye and just brilliant at what he does. So I can't put him over enough.
I have to say, you listened to the wrestling podcast about nothing, which I love. Brian was another guest because it looks like Malonis is gone.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him.
But he had Christian Casanova as a guest, and they were saying
just
how
today.
they had Brian put an 8-minute match together in like a minute or two.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
Christian's like, how the heck do you do that? Well, that's experience and knowing what to do, you know? Yes, he came on here, Brian was on here, and he said how he did start with Jeff, but he feels that was like high school compared to college.
Finishing school.
Finishing school
Yeah.
when he went to Bradley.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And again, it was completely like even, you know, when Bradley came back and
Yeah.
him and I were hanging out or whatever, just the experiences that he had, you know, working in Memphis, you know,
Right.
4 nights a week, and then going to Puerto
With
Rico,
Angle.
and
Yeah.
you know, just like this, it's for years he
Yeah.
did that. You know, Cincinnati, he did it. You know, you're gonna learn like. If you play checkers and you keep playing the same guy in checkers, and he's just as good as you, so you keep doing, I win, you win, I win,
Right.
you win, you're only going to get so good, right?
Yep.
So you want to be better, you play better people.
Right.
So you go out and you do that. You know,
Yeah.
that's what you do. And that Bradley had that experience to be able to wrestle guys with all different levels of experience.
Right.
You're bound to get better. You know, Brian Fury, the same thing. He's worked in Ring of Honor and
Brian's
worked
a
all
great
over New
wrestler,
England
man.
and
He
stuff.
is.
Yeah. So
He is.
I
you
worked in
get
a-
better.
A long time. When Wolfie first, it all happened with Wolfie. He won the
Yeah,
lottery,
yeah,
and
yeah.
We started running.
Jason.
We started doing.
I love Jason. He's a good guy.
Absolutely, Wolfie's the best. But we started doing the racetracks, and I got to work with Brian on one of those. And that was like when he first, probably like the first couple of years he was in.
Right.
And it was still, even then, it was a good. I remember looking out, and probably wasn't a ton of people there, but Bradley and Alex were sitting in the crowd, and afterwards they're like telling Brian how great. Oh, you're really good. And they're telling me, don't do that. Don't do that again. Don't do that. And just sell. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
Nice. Now, you know what surprised me is when you said that you both had your first match against each other. Because I have heard promoters say that they really don't want to do that.
Oh no, we didn't.
No, didn't you and
No,
Bradley?
He had his- oh yeah. Oh,
That's what I mean,
you
like him
yeah.
by himself.
Yeah.
And you said Bradley's first match too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
As he
usually
said
wanna
this
put
off
some-
air. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was always like under the impression that you really don't want to put two new guys together because you need like a veteran in the ring.
I think Jeff thought that Bradley was good enough to
Right. Okay.
that
okay.
he had done. Like I said, he wasn't.
I have a different opinion on that. I think that Jeff did it. So Jeff did a lot of wacky things.
Right. Oh, no doubt.
And so I think that him in his mind, he really didn't care much about anything except on those first couple of shows, except the main event.
right.
Right.
Right. Okay.
And because he was involved in it, and it was
Yep.
Captain USA, and it was a gimmick. He had a year-long program planned
Right.
out in his head. The rest of the show, he really didn't give a whole lot of thought to.
Okay.
He was like, "What's going to be a good match? Davey and Bradley,
Right.
Bob and this guy." You know what I mean? Like that's
Yep.
and that's how it worked out. Like,
Okay.
I think
That match, the other thing I can remember is it was Steve in the corner, and I'm putting the boots to him, and I was Austin wasn't doing this back then, but like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Jeff happened to peek out, and because the crowd's going. That was the other thing. We had 100 people there, but they're all our family and friends.
Right.
So they're going crazy for me because I'm beating the crap out of the guy. And the next day, Jeff put me over to him. Oh, that was how great that was. He just made me feel like I was like the world champion.
Right.
And I'm just like, of course, we videotaped it and watched it afterwards, and I'm just watching it going, I suck.
then it was all downhill from there.
Yeah,
that, was
yeah.
that was the only praise Jeff ever gave us.
Right, yeah. It was like, and then Jeff's like, oh, I didn't see the rest of this. No, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that.
Right.
Just sell. All right.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think that you can put two guys that are green, or
Okay.
in certain spots. I
Right.
think is it better to put a guy with a little more experience with but it's not always
Right.
it's not always possible. It
Okay.
just can't always be that way. So, it's
Then we were talking about this before, me and Bill Wilcox against
Yeah.
Bob Evans. And Bob had probably been around a year or two.
yeah,
by
about a
then.
year or so. Yeah,
Yeah, and
Is
for
he
him-
still doing centerfold?
then he wasn't. No.
No, there was
Yeah.
him and Bradley, and they became, brutal.
Became super bad.
Super bad.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
so I mean that we had two guys. Bill Wilcox had been around. And
Yep.
Kowalski?
Horseshack?
Yeah, Horseshack.
Horse-
Yeah, Horseshack.
Now, the crowd's going, that's Horseshack. And he's like, yeah, Horseshack. And I'm like, no, they're talking about you. And he's like,
Yeah.
what? He was like, amazing.
The crowd. If you guys don't know Bill Wilcox, he was
Great.
a
From
guy from New
Nashville, right?
Hampshire,
Yeah.
Manchester, I think, or Concord.
Okay.
But he was a guy that trained with Walter, and he was in shape. He looked
Very
good, super athletic. Was getting a lot of shots around independent wrestling
Right,
back
right,
then.
right.
Like somebody would bring in, say, the 1-2-3 Kid out of Minnesota,
Yeah,
and he'd work with him. And,
Wow.
those kind of because they were both did a lot of the flippy stuff.
Right.
Yep.
Well, Jeff brings him in because he's a guy from New Hampshire that he thinks
Yeah.
people are going to know.
Yeah.
And the crowd has no idea who he is, and they're chanting Horseshack at him. They're saying, but Dave and Billy are baby
baby
faces,
faces.
Yeah, yeah.
and
The
they
baby
chanted Horseshack. And Wilcox thinks that they're calling Bradley or Bob Horseshack, and Dave's like, nah, man, that's you. He's like, what? Yeah.
And the only other thing I can remember about him is that he liked to do a thing where he grabbed the top rope and he'd flip in.
Yeah, okay,
He'd do
yeah,
a
yeah.
front somersault
Yeah.
into the ring. He grabbed onto those ropes, and when he went to, he's like, whoa, and I'm like, yeah, you don't want to do that.
Not in
loose
Jeff's
ropes.
ropes.
You're gonna
Oh,
kill-
so
oh.
loose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff's ropes.
he
were
built
loose.
Oh, that
That
little,
was that-
the little
love
little
boy.
ring, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, it
It's
was
all
probably
wood.
like the floor over there, only this high up off the
Yeah,
ground.
it was very close.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a
And
steel
this goes-
base, but the everything else was wood. Well, the posts were wood, metal, but everything else was wood.
Right.
And Jeff's idea was, he goes, I'm not running big buildings. We don't need a big
Rich-
ring.
yeah, Rich-
Right.
We want to be able
No
to.
problem, no doubt.
So his idea was, I'm going to run
Yeah.
Elks Lodges and VFWs, and a lot of those halls are small. So
And church halls.
church halls, right? Like the
That's-
same
I
stands,
love
right?
going over there.
But then we started running Hudson,
Yeah.
Which was
the Lions Hall,
The
which
Lions
is a
Hall,
big
yeah.
building.
Yeah. And it didn't.
It needed a big ring. It
Yeah.
looked like
Small.
it
Kids'
looked
ring.
small. It looked like a kid's ring
Yeah.
instead of a big building. Like
It was loud. It bumped loud. It was a good bump. You could hear it when you bumped.
yeah.
Because
I remember at the Lions Hall when the Eliminators wrestled there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
And you wrestled them, right?
Not there, but yeah,
Okay.
I did. I don't think I did.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
You
Oh,
and Jeff, Hollywood Blondes against the Susan, whatever they guys were. The Blondes
yeah, the
against
Suicide
Dude,
Blondes.
they,
Yeah.
I mean, they had what? Just come back from Memphis?
Japan, maybe?
I think they were just heading to ECW, so they
Okay.
probably just came from war in Japan. I think.
Nice.
Because I remember talking to Perry up at Salisbury Beach at Champs Arena.
Yep.
And he's like, I remember working a match with him, and Jeff and I, and Cronus on the outside, and I gave him a bump, and I put him in a rear chin lock, and I'm laying with him. And he's like, all right, brother, pick me up. I go, nope, stay here. And he goes, no, come on, we got to get the crowd going. And I'm like, nope, relax. Like, we're okay right here.
Yeah.
And then finally after the match, like it was a great match. It was
Yep.
fun. And he goes, brother, man, your style is perfect for Memphis. I go, great. Can you get me booked there?
Yeah.
Get the information? He goes, you don't want me as a reference down in Memphis. He said.
yeah.
He goes, it didn't end well for us. I go, all right.
I just remember them in the locker room trying to asking Ricard, where's the closest strip club? Where are we going after? Where is it? Where's our?
I got to meet Perry 2 years ago
Yes.
at the New England
Yep.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame. And it was so cool, man. Because,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen the picture, but I'm so happy, right?
Yeah.
And there's Perry.
Yeah.
Not even smiling.
I
or
loved
nothing.
care
his
less.
accept. Everybody's up there. Of course, it's a big thing for people. Hall of Fame.
Right.
And they're all giving their speeches, and he just gets up there and says, "Thank you."
Yeah, his was really quick. But it
2
was,
minutes to turn around.
he was such a good worker. Do you remember when he broke his
Oh
leg?
my God, he was.
And he wrestled a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
matches with
Yeah.
his broken leg, and he'd
Yeah.
just do the spot. The big spot was coming off with an elbow.
Yeah.
What a worker.
Yeah.
Seriously.
He was good. I was just watching some of his stuff when they just got to Memphis.
Right.
And then we were there at JFK when they had the tryout with the WWE, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, they had it as a
Yep,
team.
yep.
Because I was in Lowell when Perry had a tryout at the auditorium.
Yeah, that's probably when he was working as the War Horse or whatever. Or
Yeah,
something.
the Iron Horseman.
Yeah, the Iron Horseman.
And I met Chris Duffy that night. And unbelievable. He was so nice, man.
Chris was the best.
So nice.
Chris
I
was the
became
absolute
instantly, he became like my favorite independent wrestler right away. Because he was so
so good.
cool.
He
He
was-
tagged with them, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we were the
you got
gorgeous.
lucky.
We were the Duffy brothers. I don't even remember what my name was.
Right.
I have a brochure or whatever they're called. Not a brochure,
Pamphlet?
pamphlet from one of the shows I did
Yeah.
with him, and we were on the back. He was Gorgeous Chris and Sexy Sonny Duffy or something like that, or I don't know. We were the
That's cool,
Fabulous
though.
Duffy brothers or something.
So was you
like
just a couple matches, one match?
a
as a
series
team?
of 6
Yeah.
or so? Like I worked for Steve. Not Steve Ricard. I can't
Yeah,
think of his
Richard
name.
Burns.
Richard Burns.
Ah, superstar.
Yeah. And we worked Brian Walsh and Mad Dog Richard.
Wow.
Yeah. And,
Hey, how was Mad Dog Rashad as a worker? I remember him.
Hell of
But
a guy.
I didn't remember how good of a worker he was. But he was a good worker.
Probably a reason,
Hell of a
but-
guy.
probably a reason you don't remember how good of
Right,
a worker
right,
he was.
right.
Yeah. No, he was all right. He was a big guy. Like, so every now and again you get caught by something,
Right.
but it's just nothing malicious. So just
Yeah.
Kowalski
But-
loved him, huh?
Kowalski loved him because he was a giant. Yeah,
Right,
and Richard
right.
Byrne loved him. He was a big dude. And plus he set up the ring. I think it was his.
Yeah, right.
Like he was the
yes.
ring guy, so he would like
yes,
set it up.
that's right,
But
yeah.
Brian and working with Brian Walsh and Chris Duffy was like, I was like, man, I don't belong.
We saw him at. I remember going to a show in Chelmsford High School. It was outside on the track, and it was Duffy against Rio, Lord of the Jungle. The fake Ultimate. Was
Yeah.
that who ended up being
Or
the
Chris
fake one?
Walker or something. One of them.
So he has him.
okay.
When they did that, yeah.
Everybody's on one side of the ring.
Yeah.
Right. It was all in like the bleachers and stuff, and so he gets Duffy in the corner, away from everybody to do the 10 punches.
Yep.
And he gets like 2 in, and Duffy just pushes him.
Like
and
with his
just-
back to the crowd.
Yeah,
He's
and just
facing the
fakes-
highway.
and just fakes into the other corner, and he's like, "Come on, you dummy!"
Chris was so good. Yeah,
Awesome. Just I
so good.
Nice. I want to bring out, I have to ask you this.
Okay.
You have any Kevin Butcher Hughes stories?
How much? We only have 8 minutes
Right.
left.
I know.
Give me one. Think of one that's great. Because Kevin was awesome.
When I first met, so Jeff,
Crazy guy.
Jeff and I, it's through the holidays. Holidays are coming up. He's gonna come over for Thanksgiving, and he's giving us all these stories from Canada and how how crazy and what he. The reporter shows up to Kowalski and he tells him, this guy's, trying to expose the business. Kevin takes out the pliers and beats him over the face with it. All these crazy stories, like scaring the crap out of us. So he comes to Jeff's house for Thanksgiving. We have to go. We're gonna go over to the store. He probably needs butts. We need soda or whatever. So
Right.
we're walking. Well, you guys pick me up to that tower, across the street at Towers, and we're going down to the gas station. At 7, Kevin's got the box. He takes out the box cutter. He worked at Ann and Hope opening up. He worked
Yep.
in the back. And he's got up. He goes, look, this, I got this, right? You know this. Sonny does it
Yeah.
way better than me, man. You never know.
Right.
You never know
he said.
what.
He would just pull it out like this, so it's all slack. Here
Yeah.
you go.
You never know.
And then he would slide it open. You never know.
And we're like, what are you
And then
talking
he put it back in his pocket, and we're like,
He always treated me so good.
he's
too. He
he's
really
the,
was.
the
I got-
sweetest man.
I'm doing, of course, I did a million gimmicks, but with Jeff, I do Slammy the Clown, which
Yeah.
is Slummy the Clown. But so I have to work with Kevin, and Kevin's like, I'm doing the makeup and all, and he's watching me the whole time, and he's like, and he's just looking at me, and it's scaring the crap. I'm like, all right, I never worked in. Jeff's like, don't touch him, don't go near him,
Right.
don't say anything, just listen, and he'll do whatever he wants. You just don't do a thing to him. I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay. So we get in the ring, I'm trying to do the clown thing, and I'm scared out of my mind. And we ring the bell, and he just screams and comes running after me, and I'm like, and and he grabs me, and it's the lightest. He's like,
Right.
and he smeared my makeup all over my face. But everything after that was just easy. And then we went into he took it home, and that was it. And I was just like, and I go back to Jeff, and I'm like, he didn't, and he's like laughing at me, like, I don't,
Kevin was
Kevin's
the
a professional. He knows what
scariest-
but
He looked
Scariest
scary
man.
in a way,
Stop.
even though,
He-
like, you know what I mean?
I
You
would-
could look at him and not really be scary, but when you looked at him, you knew there was something not 100% up there.
Oh yeah,
There's
he
no
used to
doubt.
he used to tell a story about. He's like, wow. When I was
Sound just like him.
when I
though.
was committed,
Yeah.
when I was
Yes.
committed, he'd say,
were committed
he goes,
what?
they used to give me he goes, I was when they had me inside, they used to give me the pills. I used to sit outside and give them to the dogs. And I'm like, but that's how his stories always
Yeah,
went
yeah,
though. No start, no middle,
Right, right.
just when I was institutionalized. he'd
We're
say,
at the duck race, doing a show at the duck race here in Nashville,
Yeah.
down by the Red Cross. And it's Jeff and him against Big City and Callahan. And Big City goes for the pin on Jeff. And Kevin comes running in and boots Big City right in the ribs. Bam! I mean, it's
toe to the ribs.
and all you hear is "Pooh!" like big, and afterwards, it's a shoot.
Yeah, he was
That-
shooting on him. He's
That's
shooting
right.
on him.
No,
Kevin thought he was right. Kevin thought Big City was
every once
Big
in a
City was
while
such a big guy.
Yeah.
he would, and Jeff always said just. Jeff was his handler, like
Yeah.
took care of him. He always made sure he was okay. But he was the nicest, sweetest guy. I thought.
Yeah.
Once you knew him,
Just
Right.
once you knew
and
him,
he would. I'm convinced that he would kill for us.
oh yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Oh, I believe. I
the one
do
thing-
believe that.
The one thing I still get from Kevin is I sit like this constantly now, all the time.
Right.
Kentucky.
That he just looks at me because we're sitting
say, I do
there
it, I
at
do
Jeff's
it.
house one time,
Yeah.
and we just hear Kevin in the back room. Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right. We're like, what the hell's going on? And this is how he would be, just like this. I told you the story about the tape on the ear from Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just
I
crazy.
never-
You could
Yeah.
find that story.
You also told me about the gun in the white bag
Yep,
of
gun
baby
and
powder.
the baby powder, or the baking soda for
Baking
teeth.
soda, that's what it was, yeah.
With 3 cars from the border. You think they'll find my gun? I think they're gonna find your gun.
course.
Yeah, we're 300-pound guys,
Right.
in a Nissan Sentra pulling up to the Canadian border. Probably gonna find your gun.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
awesome,
Kevin was, but
awesome.
my God, like,
The best.
he was just. So I went to that show in Proving Ground in
Yep.
Peabody.
Yeah,
and I'm
last
sitting
weekend or
there,
2
right, 2
weekends
weekends
ago.
ago, whatever, and I'm sitting there and I just go, I gotta find Kevin. I gotta bring him to a show.
Right, right.
I just want to hang with him. He's
Yeah.
just such a phenomenal guy. Like he was so crazy though. We'd go over to Jeff's house for holidays or whatever.
Yeah.
We'd all eat, and then next thing you know, we'd look, and then Kevin's gone. Like he would
Like
just
he
eat,
ate and just left.
just never say anything to anybody. Just go. He wouldn't sleep over or anything. You know,
Right.
it's an hour drive, but we would all be sitting hanging out for hours and hours.
Right.
It'd get late, and he would just go. and
The
just
show at the Hudson Light, he was a ringer. That he'd ring the bell.
Yes.
The last match, ring the bell, and he would be out the back
leave. Yeah,
door.
that's
in his
like
car
he'd be
and
standing up ringing the
gone.
bell. Yeah, and then just be like, all right, folks, we'll see you on February 19th. And then that was it, just out
He was
the door.
gone. Well, like I said, he was really nice to me. I was probably doing Jeff shows for like a year.
Yeah.
Would have very small conversation with him, and always when he walked away, always like you said, never like a whole story. You'd get like the beginning, the end, and everything
Yeah.
would just be jumbled around.
Yes.
But one night he comes in, he's like, I got something for you. I'm like, you do? He's like, yep, look at these, and he gives me 1950s tape. It was one that they made and sold in stores.
Yeah.
Greatest heels, greatest
Yeah.
baby faces or
Yeah.
whatever. Great. No, I think it actually said best good guys or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But I mean, he didn't have to do that. He's like, I know how much you
just-
love wrestling and you love your
That's
tapes.
awesome.
Look at all your tapes. So he gives me these two, and I said, help yourself, Kevin.
Yeah.
Whatever you want. He's looking at all. He grabs a couple. He doesn't know what he's got like three.
Yeah.
I'm like, Kev, you can have them all.
Yeah.
Really? I'm like, yes. Like, you're the best. And he walked away.
Yeah.
And I probably only talked to him 2 or 3 times after that, even though I did like 25 more shows.
Yeah.
He was a really nice guy.
When I had my daughter, Emma, he'd have gifts for her,
Right.
like just, he's
That don't
just such
surprise
a,
me.
With Andrew, my son.
just such a
Andrew
good
was
guy.
yeah.
Just, I was so glad. I'm so thankful for Jeff for introducing him
Oh,
and
yeah,
bringing
right.
him in. You know
Now,
what I
where's
mean? Like,
Kevin live now?
I think he still lives in the PVD area. Yeah.
Definitely should look him up, man. I'd love
absolutely.
it. If you do,
One
I
time
gotta be at a
This
show
is the
with him.
best story. So one time I call him. This is how he answers the phone. I call. I go, man, I can't wait to see Kevin. I'm going to bring him to a show in Peabody at Liberty States for Todd,
Okay.
right? And this is how the phone call goes. It's ringing. And then on the other end, I hear this. Hello, New Hampshire. That's how he answered the phone. Because on the caller ID, it said New Hampshire. Hello, New Hampshire. And I go, Kevin, who's this? I go, this is Sonny. Hey, how are you? I go, hello, New Hampshire? That's who was calling. I go, all right. Hello, New
I used to
Hampshire.
like asking him quite like, you tell him a story that you heard about him, and you're like, that never happened.
Yeah.
The tape, the
tape on the ear.
thing. You said he's telling
Yeah.
look, you're right there. That's
Yeah, like,
not me.
we're watching you
That's
with the
not
tape on
me.
the ear. That's not me. I didn't do that.
That's so awesome.
That's what would you say? That's CGI or whatever. That's superimposed, photoshopped, you would say.
I want to say one thing because I see it somewhere.
Yeah.
I just want to thank anybody that I ever worked with that sold for me or that I got to sell for. It was, I
That's not what he said in the car, but whatever. We'll
I
just
do.
let him
I
leave
really
on
do.
that.
Thank you very much to anybody.
All right, we got to go.
Guys.
Bye.
Peace.
Guys.
Say it.
Peace.
Sorry.
Nah, don't worry about it, man.
That
That's
went by
awesome.
quick, right?
I go.
That was
Sometimes.